Welcome to the Home Service Contractor Blueprint by A2O Digital. Every episode will cover topics that impact all home service companies like marketing, sales tactics, operations, and more. Now, on to today's episode.
Hello, my name is Tim Coleman, and I'm your host today. I'm also the managing partner of A2O Digital, a full-service digital marketing agency working exclusively with home service businesses. With me today is my partner and co-host, Doug Benchko. In today's episode, we will be covering search generative AI in Google. Doug, welcome.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Doug, we've been talking a lot about AI and how it's going to affect marketing and using it in different ways. And, like as a business owner and somebody who's been in the advertising game for a lot of your life, what kind of impact do you think AI is going to have on search?
So, yeah, I know, Tim, we've had this conversation pretty recently. And so I'll probably repeat some of the things, obviously, to you. But, if you had asked me that question a couple months ago, I would have probably said, I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Like that might be the answer. I would say, honestly, over the last few months, I have been, I don't know the word to use, studying it, but I just have like interest in the more that I look into it, the more that I read, the more that I watch. And like, you might be look on YouTube watching a podcast or somebody else talking about AI and where it's going. And the more that I engage myself in this conversation, the more convinced I am of how big this is going to be.
Right.
And 3 months ago, it wasn't even really on my radar screen, really. And I'll give you some of the reasons why I'm convinced that this is going to be, like, I'll say, life-changing to not just a search marketing. It's going to be life-changing for the world. The world is going to change dramatically. And Tim, I said this to you. Second Opinion, or A2O Digital, as we're now known. We started as, our name was the Second Opinion. We were a Yellow Page marketing agency. And back in the year, like the late 1990s, everything was dominated by the Yellow Pages.
That's right.
If you were a home service business and you wanted your phone to ring, all right, you went to the Yellow Pages. And if you knew how to do the Yellow Pages properly, you would dominate telephone calls. We were able back in the 1990s to lay out ads in a certain fashion that when you did it the right way, your phone started ringing the day those books hit the street. You could start your business up, have no reputation at all, know nothing about whatever you're getting involved in, but you could look like a pro, and people were going to call you because you look like the pro. You look like the guy that knew what he was doing, and the phones would ring off the hook. And the people that sold Yellow Pages, they knew it. And they would raise your price every single year. 3%, 4%, 5%, 7%, 8%, like per year, they kept raising the prices, and they were the king of advertising. They knew it, and they could raise their prices. That's the way the world worked in the 90s. And I know a lot of people that are watching maybe the podcast will remember those days. And if you didn't know what you were doing in the Yellow Pages, you didn't have your phones ring. And there were some people that said, Yellow Pages don't work for me because they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
If you knew how to dominate it, you could dominate it. And I'm not going to go further down that road about how to dominate the Yellow Pages because that's kind of irrelevant. Yep. But I remember when the internet first started and I was showed oh, this is going to dominate the world. Everybody in the world's going to be on the internet, and you're not even going to this is going to run businesses, blah, blah, blah. And the first time somebody showed me the internet was they came in and they went on dial up, and I had to sit there and I waited.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely the screen was drawn, and there was a website there, and I'm going like, this isn't going to dominate the world.
Right.
And the people at the Yellow Pages that printed the Yellow Pages, they laughed. Sure. And they said, we're the Yellow Pages. We're not going out of business. Because I looked at it and I said, they're right. They're not going out of business. Well, by about maybe the early 2000s.
That's right. Yep.
It didn't take too long, right? Early 2000s, things started to change. The thing called broadband came along, right? Where your internet was always on. You didn't have to wait for that dial-up that was so slow, and things started to change and the internet developed. And obviously here we are today in 2023. And if you're a small business and you want to make your phones ring, you don't put ads in Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages are dinosaurs. They're extinct. They're gone, right? When I say gone, there still are people that print books, but you and I know, and most people know, that if you want to run a business, you better understand how to do your internet marketing.
That's for sure.
You better understand certain things. And that feeling that I got when I first saw the internet and thought it was going to dominate this, and I laughed in my own brain, right? And thought it was a joke. Well, here we are in 2023. And what's going on in my brain right now is, if we don't figure out and understand where the world's going, we're going to be just like the Yellow Pages.
Yep.
I think the change from the Yellow Pages to the internet took, let's just say for argument's sake, 10 years. You could argue it took 23 years because we're in 2023 right now. But let's just say it took 10 years. I think artificial intelligence is going to have a bigger impact than the internet, or let's say this, as big an impact as the internet, but it's going to happen even faster. If it took 10 years for the internet to become really significant, if it took 10 years, AI is going to change the world in less than half that time. That's where my brain is at today. And the more I look and read and understand what's going on, the more I'm convinced of it. And that's why I was having that conversation with you, Tim, about, like, as a digital marketing agency, we have to figure out how we stay on the front end of this.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
And I know you realize that now too. I mean, we're on the same page here. And I guess this podcast that we're doing right now is trying to help people understand, like, this is real. This is real. This is really going to change the world. And it started, we had this conversation, I think it was early this week. And I think by Tuesday or Wednesday, I got an invitation for Google's experimental generative AI. And it's part of my everyday search results. So something that took 10 years in the Yellow Pages, I feel like it's here. It's experimental, and they call it Google Labs, but it's here. Yeah. So Tim, here's something to think about, right? Google realizes this too, right? That's why they're doing this Google Labs, or whatever you called it, right? So here's something really to ponder. Remember, like I said, the Yellow Pages laughed, and and today they're all dinosaurs and they're extinct. Think about this for a second. This is gonna maybe blow your mind, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it's gonna blow your mind what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Is this gonna put Google out of business. Think about that for a second. Think about that. Google being put out of business. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not going to tell you because Google is not going to allow it to happen. Google's going to figure out how they're going to be like trying to dominate this side of the business. The Yellow Pages didn't have a solution. Google will come up with solutions. The question is, will they lead this or will they trail this? They're already trailing. The first big AI thing that happened was ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, and that's, believe it or not, that's been almost a year now, right? That was last December ChatGPT was launched. Almost a year already. That's how fast time's going, too.
Yeah, and there are probably a lot of people that will be listening to this podcast, and they're going to go, "What's that? I don't even know. I never heard of Chat."
Some business owners may not be familiar with ChatGPT yet.
Yep. They won't even know what it is. And so here's what I will tell you: if you want to go to start to understand some of this stuff, go in, type that into your search engine, find out, and start playing with that. All right, and you're going to be amazed. You're going to be amazed at what you see. And so there's probably going to be, I don't know, 5 key players in the AI industry that are going to lead this. And ChatGPT is a Microsoft product, right? It was developed by Microsoft. I think I'm accurate.
No, they're a partner with Microsoft, but not developed by.
Okay, all right, yeah. But I know that they're working in conjunction, with Microsoft, right? And Microsoft and Bing have been competing against Google, and so all this is connected. But so you could say Microsoft and their search engine, has been second fiddle to Google for many, many, many years now, right? And they have been on the forefront of this artificial intelligence stuff, and like what Google is going to do and how fast they're going to do it is going to determine their fate, right? Whether they survive. Mm-hmm. I truly do believe Google is going to survive, and they may be the best at all this. I'm not trying to predict that. What I'm saying is that if Google didn't do it, they'd be put out of business, because when you start understanding where the world's going, it's scary. It's exciting in a lot of ways, but it's also scary. It's also scary, right? And like, I believe, especially when I start hearing about this, people won't go online and type in Google and say, find me a plumber, find me a garage door company. All right. And by the way, like, I'm a garage door company, Precision Garage Door, right? I own the franchises in the New York metropolitan area. And we live and die off of search marketing. This is what drives our business.
Right.
And it scares me to not be on the forefront and figuring out where the world's going. And this is like, everybody's going to be walking around with a phone in the very near future. And you won't go into Google and say, Google, find me this, or Google, give me an answer to that. And then it does its search, and you read information. You're going to have your phone it's going to be like a personal assistant to you that will give you all the information that you ever want. And you will start to like trust this personal assistant like it was like this authority that you have. Just like, I go to it for everything. I ask it everything. Hey, should I have a hamburger today for lunch, or should I have pizza? Right? And the phone's going to tell you, well, you better eat pizza because you had a hamburger yesterday and your calories and blah. Like, this is going to be crazy stuff. You're going to be going to a personal assistant, and that personal assistant is going to talk to you.
Yeah.
And at first it's going to be on your phone, and eventually, it's going to get even crazier than that. But these personal assistants are going to tell you which garage door company to use, And why? Google's not going to even be being involved. That personal assistant is part of the Microsoft thing, and that's your personal assistant. You're going to do what that tells you to do. We better figure this out. This is where the world's going.
For sure. Yeah.
So I don't know.
You talk about Google, Doug, and how important Google thinks it is, and when let's start impacting people. Well, I'm going to tell you that it started impacting you on Wednesday, and I'll show you and talk to you exactly about how. I got the invitation to join the search generative AI on Wednesday morning, and I was just doing a search for earbuds actually. And, Google normally with a product search like that would first and foremost offer to show me ads, of course, right? Because that's what they're in the business of. They think AI is so important that they put that at the top. And I searched for earbuds and it came up. And first it tells me that these results are experimental. It tells me generative AI is experimental. Info quality may vary. And then it says, when choosing earbuds, you can consider the following, right? And it starts going into sound quality, comfort, design and fit, battery life. It got into a little bit of noise cancellation. And the stuff was genuinely useful in me beginning to explore purchasing earbuds, right? So it actually provided me information, and Google obviously thought it was so important that it put it up above the edge. It thinks AI, it better get the AI out, and because you can just tell Google's attitude a little bit about it. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, so now obviously, we do digital marketing for home service businesses and garage doors. So now I do a search for garage door repair. Now, normally, if I do a search for garage door repair, the top of the search results, I'm going to find your business because we do a pretty good job, right? We do this for you. So I got you at the top of the results here in what's called the Google local service ad, right? And you're the first business that comes up, and I can see all your reviews and all this type of stuff. And then there's a PPC ad, and you're the top PPC ad, and then you're the top ad in Google Maps. That's called the Google local search ad, right? So we know what we're doing, so we're dominating the results. And that's the way we like it, right? And then all of a sudden, I do a search. You say, well, maybe AI is going to affect you. Well, let me tell you something. Yeah, you're right. So now I type garage door repair, and I'm on my phone here. And by the way, Google will not offer you to use AI on your account if you are a Google Workspace user. So it has to be a personal account. And so on my personal account, whenever I do searches now, I get generative AI. So now I do this, and it says, I just typed in garage door repair. I did not tell it my town or anything. We know Google knows my location, though. So it says garage door repair services in Rockaway Township. That's the town I live in, right? So Google knows that. And it's telling me we're going to include, garage door suppliers, service establishments, and other businesses. Okay, garage door suppliers. So where's that pulling from? That's pulling from when we set up your Google business profile. Google asks us what category of business you're in, and we tell it you are a garage door supplier. That's why Google's saying that. And then it starts pulling results. Diamond garage door repair, experts garage doors, durable doors, Morris County. Now there's no ads. There's where in a result that you were previously dominating, you're absent. So do you think it behooves us to start learning about this?
No, I'm not. No, I don't think that's important. No.
Yeah. So you ask, when is AI going to start affecting you? I'll tell you the exact day. It was September 13th, 2023. And just so folks know, the results that are coming up, the results that are being shown for a local business in Google. So you did a product search, we got very different results. We do a local search, and we can see the results here are being pulled from Google business profiles, what was previously called Google Maps, or however you want to, Google Local, however you want to call it. And you can see it's Diamond Garage Door Repair, it's Experts Garage Door, it's Durable Door. If you compare that to my normal Google results, or my Google results absent AI, you can see those are exactly the same. Garage Door Repair, Diamond Garage Door Repair, Expert Garage Doors, Durable Door. So the results are exactly the same. And Google pulls the reviews from there, and then it gives a snippet of information to the user. So it's saying, again, it's going to pull the category. It's going to say, it says Experts Garage Doors. It tells me the star rating, tells me how many reviews, tells me the category, repeats the category again in kind of sentence form. Garage door supplier and service establishment that some say fix their garage door opener, and then I could pull down and get more information, right? So Google's doing, in this case, the category plus a snippet from a review. Same thing with the next one. Difference here, Google's now going to include the town in the snippet of information, because this town is different from the zip code I searched in. So now it's garage door supplier in Denville. And then it goes on, so category, Denville, the town, and then a snippet from a review. Here again, you got the category, the town, snippet from a review. And it's pulled all of that information from GBP. And in each case, there's an image. And the image is also pulled from GBP. I thought this might have been pulled from the website, but in each case that I looked at, and I've only looked at a limited number of these so far, but each case, it was the first image that was uploaded to the GBP. So if you're thinking about already how to optimize for Google Local AI, right now it is very similar to how you would optimize your Google business profile. And if there's an image that you really want to make sure is associated with your business in Google AI, try and make that the first image associated with your GBP account as well. So that's kind of, if you wanted to change that image, you'd have to go in there and figure out how to do that. You might have to delete all the images and re-upload another one or something like that. Well, we haven't tried to do that yet, but we're going to start working on this soon. Obviously, we can see where these results are coming from. But again, like, what's Google's attitude is AI's coming first. It's my query, and then it is AI. Do not pass go. Do not show $200 worth of ads, right? Like, it is straight to AI. So what's Google's attitude about AI right now?
Yeah. So Tim, this probably could be scaring the bejeebies out of a lot of people right now, right? Because
right.
So I'm gonna give you, like, this is concerning, and it is scary. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's much scarier than even what you're showing here, because I will tell you this, right? Google is in the money business. They want to make money. Sure. That's it, right? And they're going to, like, if you notice, like, I can guarantee you they're not making any money off of that first listing there, Diamond Garage Door.
Correct.
They're not making any money off of this. This is an they're running experiments right now themselves. This is not going to stay like this very long. They're learning, they're figuring out their strategy. And, if you pay money to Google's going to make it so you go out to that front of that thing somehow. There's going to be money tied to it. So this is scary, right? But they're going to still collect their tolls, and the search is going to be different. The thing that really freaks me out, what happens if Google is like a non-entity? Because, like, and there's other people that are in AI assistants on people's phones. They're not even going to see Google's result. Like, there's just a lot of stuff here that's going on, much more than we can talk about in a a half hour podcast or whatever. But the world is changing. It's changing. And what I'll say to you is your digital marketing agency better understand this and better be working with it right now. What is that game plan for that agency? And it is it's a very interesting topic.
Yeah. Now, and the evolution is, you're right. It started with Yellow Pages. You had to know how to optimize Yellow Pages. Then you had to optimize your website and all that. Then mobile came along. You had to learn to optimize for mobile. And as of Wednesday, and you could argue even further back since, with Bing and ChatGPT getting together earlier this year, but with Google, it started. And for me, it was September 13th. Like I started to have to understand how AI in Google was going to start impacting the results of our customers. We have to know how to optimize for AI right now. It's not tomorrow. It's right now.
It's today. Yep. It's today. Actually, it's actually yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. It's right. It's exactly right. So we wanted to get together. We had this conversation this week. So I wanted to get together with you, Doug, talk about this a little bit and share with our folks listening to this podcast, like what it kind of looks like. I tried to describe it as best I could. If you get the invite from Google, again, you have to be in a personal Google account. You have to be signed into a personal Google account. Then Google will offer you the invite. If you get it, click on it. And the first step is to start to get these generative AI results in your own searches, see how you find them helpful, and then we can start to studying them for our customers and how they're going to impact all of the searches that are done in the industries of folks we represent.
Yeah. Tim, I think it was a very, very relevant topic. I wish that we had thousands of viewers right now that we could help. What I want to have accomplished here for this podcast for people is I think this is a topic that we're going to need to talk about on a regular basis because it's going to keep changing really rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
And, so stay tuned, come back. You'll find out we're talking about interesting stuff for home search, businesses for home service business, I should say, and how you can get found. And this is going to be a place where you're going to be able to hopefully keep up with some of the stuff that's going on. So
yeah, stay tuned. We're going to be talking a lot about AI. You can say it's here, and it's going to impact. It's going to impact every part of the home service business. Every part.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, Doug. I appreciate it. If you've liked today's episode, please like and subscribe to our podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Tim, thank you. And I'm looking forward to talking further with you.
Thanks for listening to the Home Service Contractor Blueprint. Don't forget to leave a review and subscribe so you can stay up to date on home service trends.